Hello my gorgeous loves out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to do a get ready with me, talking all about my trip, how it went, include some photos, and also use the makeup that I brought with me on my trip to create a fun little springy look. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bri and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty, and I like to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. I like to do a lot of indie makeup, so if that is what you're into, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Alright, hello my gorgeous loves. This is my first video I'm filming since I got back from my trip, and it has been weeks since I've sat in front of a camera. I feel a little rusty, but it was nice to get a break and just get to enjoy my vacation. But in the video that I did where I showed you guys me packing my travel makeup bag, I promised that I'd come back, use the makeup on camera, and tell you guys about my trip when I return from my trip. So that is what we're doing in this video today. I'm just gonna go over all the details of what I did, and I'll show you guys photos as I go. Now, I do have a vlog coming up probably next week where you can actually see like live clips and the whole trip. If you wanna see that, definitely check out for that. And I will also link the video I did packing up my makeup travel bag. But let's get into this little get ready with me. Now, I don't think I'll spend too much time explaining the makeup. You guys saw it in that video. If you did check it out, everything will be linked below with like what I end up using. So let me tell you guys, I had an amazing time, but I don't think there's ever been a trip that I went on to that I didn't have an amazing time on it. It's always great to experience something new and go to new places and to share it with amazing people. I had so much fun with Casey and his cousin Bianca. We had so many laughs, drank so much wine. We ate a lot of carbs, okay? That was what I wanted to do on the trip, and I accomplished it. So we started off, like I mentioned, in Barcelona, Spain. That's the first place we landed, and we were there for 3 amazing days. Barcelona is really beautiful. It's an amazing beachy city, and the people are so warm and friendly, and it's very chill, very laid back. People aren't in a rush to get anywhere. Like, you'll just see people just take their time. People aren't rushing, like scooting past you, trying to get, you know, in front of you. Even on the train, it just was totally a different speed, and I really liked it. So when we got there, we went and got our bags like checked in. We couldn't get into the Airbnb yet. Oh my God, foundation. But they allowed us to drop our bags off early, and we only really had to wait an hour to be able to go back to the unit. So while we waited, we just went and got something to eat. We of course went straight to tapas, which is, you know, very traditional Spain. The like little portions and like croquettes and empanadas and a lot of seafood. I mean, we were in like a port city. So we got little things of tapas, a pitcher of sangria, of course. We needed to get right to the drinks. After we ate there, we left and went back to the Airbnb, finally got checked in, you know, got ourselves together, took a shower, and we actually had a scheduled tour with audio to explore the Sagrada Familia, go inside, see everything, and the tour kind of broke down the significance of everything in there. And that building is so massive. There's a park right in front of it, and we went through it, and just the artwork, the statues, the details, it's insane. It was so big, and there was also an option to go up into the towers, but we decided not to do that because Casey's afraid of heights, and he's like, I'm not doing it, especially if there is no elevator. We're not doing the stairs. So we just looked around, listened to the audio, and after that, we left. I don't think we did anything that night. Go into some concealer. I'll just show you what I'm using. And we had a lot of things scheduled for Barcelona. I'm gonna make this quick because I have a lot to share with you guys. But the next day, we had a wine tour scheduled, and we had to be at the train station where they were picking us up by 10 a.m. So we had to take the metro to the train station, take the train. And it was like a 40-minute train ride. Of course, I didn't plan accordingly. I'm really bad with time management. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm horrible at it. So we actually ended up missing the train we needed to make it on time at that train station. We actually heard it leaving right when we got there. So we actually had to take a taxi. And I was like, I'm not missing this wine tour. I'm gonna make it happen. So we got into a taxi, spent like 80 euros, but it was worth the money because we made it on time. We got there just at 10 to meet the host. And the host was this beautiful Spaniard woman. She was so sweet. I can't remember her name, but we went into these old school like cars that had no windows and took the drive to these 2 vineyards. It was completely open and it was just the countryside. I can't remember the town or like the actual place we were in, but I'll put the name up on the screen. And it was so scenic, and we tasted so many wines. And the first vineyard we went to, the owner showed us around because she could speak English. She was so passionate and sweet and like really telling us about the wine process. And I think her dad runs this vineyard and they've had it since the 1500s. And it's been in their family for that many generations. And then we went to another vineyard right after that was also family owned. Not as old, but it has been in like their family forever. The owner of that one didn't really speak English, so the tour guide, she showed us around and explained, and they had this amazing collection of all these wines they've collected all over the world with different aged like years to them. Like they had a huge collection, and their whole family has to agree on which wine to drink for a special occasion, and they can only drink a bottle of wine that they have more than one of. If there's only one, it's just there to be a historic relic in their wine collection. That was probably the coolest part of that tour, and they got to show us it. The next day we took a bus tour to Montserrat, which is a sacred location that has a monastery up in a mountain, and it has the famous Black Madonna statue that is super sacred. A lot of people go there to touch the statue for blessings, because something's going on in their home, you know, healing. It's a very special place. And the monks literally have businesses going on there. They make their own liquor, I think their own wine, cheeses, like to like run the whole area. They have these businesses that they have so they can keep and maintain Montserrat and basically protect this sacred space. By the way, I'm gonna go into this Besame palette from ItsBel Cosmetics and get my cheeks blushed up. I'm just gonna mix things. And what did we do after that? Oh, and I went to this perfume shop that I wanted to go to. If you guys have heard of it, it's called, oh, this brush is wet for some reason. It's called Carver Barcelona, and they do fragrances. I think they do candles, lotions. And I saw a like ad or something was on Instagram which featured like these new perfumes coming out from them, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in Barcelona, I should check out this perfume shop. That would be so cool to get something based out of Barcelona, and I love perfume. And they have this like salt and lemon perfume that I wanted to go and smell, so we went to that. I bought the perfume. It kind of smells like, is it Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue? It kind of smells like that, but a little bit more lemony, and I loved it. And then I wore that the entire rest of the trip. It was so good. And then Tuesday we left at 11, and we took the train to Madrid, and we took our new, I think it's called Aero is the train. It's like a bullet train, and we got first class tickets. Casey hooked us up, and we got served like a traditional Spanish meal, chocolates, coffee, wine, cava, and it was like a 2.5 train ride, and it went by like that because it was so comfortable, Wi-Fi, comfy seats. Like, I wanted to be on the train longer. That's how nice the ride was. By the way, I'm going to Non-Octalucent palette from Blend Bunny. I'm gonna use Phenomenon. I think that's the shade I want to use. And we got to the train station in Madrid, and we actually took a like cab to the Airbnb because we got there after 3, so we were able to just go right to the Airbnb and drop our stuff off. Madrid was beautiful. We fell in love with Madrid, honestly. I think I liked Madrid a little bit more than Barcelona, and I was surprised. It's a very big city, super clean. It has a historic side, modern side, and the people there too were also friendly. They don't rush. People talk to you. They're very inviting people in Spain, and I think that's what I love the most. So I think we kind of took our time. Like, we would sleep in, then get up and go and explore. We went to some museums, and we went to the Royal Palace of Madrid, and that was a magnificent building. Like there was so many rooms. I forgot how much rooms total they have. We barely saw like any of it. I mean, I think we went through several rooms, but I can't remember how many. Is it 300 rooms? I don't know. It's a crazy big royal palace in Madrid. And the royal family doesn't actually live there, but they host a lot of special significant events there. And it was so ornate and beautiful. There was so much history and art and things to see. It was beautiful. Let's get into the eye makeup now, and we'll get into Portugal, which was totally a separate experience. The people there are also very friendly, but it was a lot more mix of people, because I felt like in Madrid there was a lot of people that were, you know, from there, that were Spaniard or from different parts of Spain. And of course there was other people from other parts of the world, but when you got to Lisbon, a lot of people of different backgrounds. So, but we stayed in Lisbon, and that is a very, very historic city. Super old, super significant. I think it's the oldest city in Europe. So all the buildings are pretty much stacked up on each other. The roads are narrow, and it's basically all on a hill. Cobblestones, a little uneven, so you have to really pay attention to the road to not hurt yourself. Just the beauty and the history behind Lisbon was amazing. To see all these historic buildings all together, and even the apartment we were staying in was very historic, so that was cool. And we did take a flight there, and we took TAP Portugal, which I wouldn't say is the best airlines. Check the reviews, they're not very positive. But I'm gonna go into this Made by Mitchell Head in the Clouds palette. I also had Feet on the Ground one, but it's a little bit more grungy and warm tone. I want to do something pastel since we're in spring. But luckily we didn't lose our bags. We didn't have any major issues. There was a big delay, and they had you standing in line forever instead of just letting you sit down, which was kind of annoying because we stood in line for like 2 hours, and then stood in line on the walkway where you go into the plane even longer. But hey, we made it. Our bags made it. We were good. So when we got to Portugal, of course, traveling is exhausting. Got to the Airbnb, had a little mix up with the Airbnb. The guy for that one actually met us there and handed us the keys. So he gave us a bunch of recommendations, but just getting in the building, we were so confused. It was actually open, and we walked in, and like a neighbor there was like, "Who are you guys? Why are you in here?" And we're like, "Who are you? We don't even know you. We're here to see so-and-so." And like, she was like trying to get all our information, which I get it. She lived there, so she wanted to know who was coming into the building, but we didn't know her. You know, she's a complete stranger. She could totally be lying that she's staying there. So when we talked to the guy, because the lady was like pressing us, and we're like, you know, I don't know you. I'm not giving you my information. But we got in, figured things out. The guy was super nice. We actually ended up going to one of the places he recommended. We went to this, it was called like El Pendre, I think that's what the restaurant was called. But that was like a very traditional Portuguese restaurant, and the food was so good. They had linguiça, which is Portuguese sausage. I had that with rice. Of course, we got a bottle of wine, which was delicious. And we got this appetizer that was just ham and like thinly sliced ham and melon. And the melons in Portugal were so good, so juicy, so fresh. I could have ate that melon all day long. It was so, so good. And then we went back to the Airbnb and crashed because, let me tell you, my legs were so sore from standing from the airport that I was in so much pain. And like I said, Lisbon is all on a hill, okay? You're gonna get a booty workout going there, which we did. So we just wanted to get some rest and kind of recover from all that standing and traveling. So we just chilled for that night. Now I'm going to go into these Dual Shine shadows that I brought with me from Udensai. I wanted to get use out of these because I purchased them, and of course I only used it the time I did a video and a few other times off camera. So I got a lot of use out of these on my trip. I used them every time I did my makeup. So beautiful, all of these. I did a whole swatch video on these if you want to see that. So the next day, after we got some rest, the next day we decided to go see some significant places in Lisbon. So we were going to take the bus. Like, we got a bus pass and a metro pass. But the bus system was very slow from our experience. So we ended up taking an Uber. We said F it. And we went to this very special... what was it called? It was a monastery. It was called GRWM. Oh, I'm probably saying it wrong, but I'll show you a photo. It was so beautiful. Had very ornate, like, carvings and statues, and it had a lot of significance with the, like, with sailors and you know, riding on the ocean, because it was right off the water. So it had a lot of stories of, like, you know, marine life and travel and boating, which I thought was super, super cool. And it was beautiful in there. So we toured that, and right across the street was the Bellum Tower, which would, like, help, you know, shippers, sailors come in, and it was kind of like a beacon and a lookout as well. We didn't end up going up to the top of it, but we sat around it, sat in front of the water, and then they ended up having, like, these little shopping setup where it was like an outdoor shopping market where you could see a lot of, like, things that is traditional to Portugal. They had a lot of bags made out of, like, corks, you know, like the cork you put on the wine. They're really pretty, and I wish I ended up buying one, which at the time I was like, oh, I'll get one later. I never went back and got one. I'm going to go to the shade right here. And they had a lot of tiles you could buy, because tile work is really big in Portugal. So a lot of the buildings are covered with tile artwork, and it just had, like, a very, like, kind of Turkish vibe to it. And it was really beautiful, all the tile work that was everywhere. And I did end up getting, like, a coffee mug that had that tile work on it. So that was really beautiful. I love that kind of artwork. And I don't remember what we did after that. We might have went to the nightlife scene. I think we did. We went to their nightlife place, which is called Beaute Bar. Probably saying that wrong, but we went to two bars. There was like a live jazz bar that was actually playing, like, jazz from, like, here, which was surprising. And then we ended up leaving there and gone to another bar that was playing, like, Spanish music, like Bad Bunny and that kind of music, which I love. So we ended up going there and, like, dancing our lives away. We didn't end up leaving from there until, like, 2 in the morning. We were having the time of our lives, drinking lots of beer. We had, I think it was called Estrella. And then there was another beer from Portugal that we were really enjoying there. So we had that as well. And then we went home. We got home at, like, 3 in the morning, got a Uber and chilled. And we did end up getting a rent-a-car eventually. And that's when we were able to get out of Lisbon, which I was happy that we got a rent-a-car, because there's, like, so many special places in Portugal that you won't be able to see if you don't have a rent-a-car to get out of Lisbon. Like, the countryside of Portugal is so beautiful. There's hills and there's all these, like, vineyards that you see, and it's so beautiful. And we ended up going to this little mountain town called Sintra, where we wanted to go to these 2 palaces. We only ended up going to one, and I'll tell you why, but we went to the Sintra National Palace, and then there was the Pena Palace. I think that's how you say it, but we didn't plan accordingly for that one. You actually need to somewhat hike into it, because you can't take a personal car. I think only the buses are allowed to go to the front. We didn't know that, and we were close to our entry time, which was 1. So we're like, oh crap, we have to park and actually walk up to it, and we did not have enough time. I should have read in advance. That is totally our fault. But we ended up leaving that and then going back into Lisbon, and we went to this really cool rooftop bar that had a very, like, beachy vibe to it. And we hung out there for, like, hours. The next day, we decided to go to the beaches. We did 2 beach days because we just wanted to keep it chill. So we went back into the countryside where all the beaches are. It's like an hour out of Lisbon. And let me tell you, those beaches are magical. Like, I'll show you these photos. Like, the water was clear. The sand was so nice. Like, it didn't cling to you. You could just dust the sand off, even if you were wet. and like there was all these like hillsides, and it was so scenic. And I'm happy we drove out to the beaches, because there are some beaches off of Lisbon, but I knew it was going to be crowded because they're right off the train station. But these ones you had to have a car to get to, so it wasn't super packed, but it was so scenic and beautiful. Now the water was super cold, but I still went in because I'm a crazy girl and I had to go in there. You know, you only live once. So right when you get in the water, you're like instantly cold, body's going numb. So I just did a quick dip. It was like doing an ice bath, and then I would sit on the sand. But it was like 79 degrees, so you would warm up pretty quickly. And we had an umbrella from the Airbnb. We got wine, food, snacks, and we just sat up, chilled. So gorgeous. It's one of my most favorite parts of going to Lisbon. And then when we got back, we did also end up going to a fado show. Forgot to mention that. We got to see traditional fado music being sung in this somewhat more fancier bar. We had to spend at least 40 euros on food or drinks to see the show, which it was totally worth it because the show was 2 hours. There was 4 different singers, and it was really beautiful. I love seeing the traditional things from places, like their music and culture. Like, I want to experience it and embrace it all. So I was there for all of that, and that was really cool. I need to finish off the look. I'm going to go into this Chucky liner from Glam Night. But everything was just perfect. You know, I mean, there was a lot of walking. Sometimes you'd be tired from all that movement and going around, but it was worth it. It was totally worth all the walking and standing. And that's why I think I lost weight, because if you want to really see Europe, you're going to walk. Let me put on some mascara. I brought my Milani and, of course, my L'Oreal Telescopic Lift mascara. That had a lot of hype on the internet and controversies over it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like I kind of rambled a lot, but there was just so much to share, and I'm sure I left things out because I can only share so much in one of these videos, or we'd be here for like 2 hours. I can talk a lot if you guys can't tell, but it was just a really beautiful trip. We had so much fun. I'm so happy that Bianca came with us too. I think it's really fun to go with more people. Now, it can be a little bit more complicated because you may have to deal with different personalities and deal with what people want to do. But overall, we all vibed really well together, pretty much on the same page, just super laid back and like go with the flow like me and Casey are. So that was good. You definitely want to travel with people that travel like you do. All right, I went ahead, finished off the look, and I did go in with a little bit of the Uden's Eye white liner that I brought on my trip. I use this almost every time I did makeup, and I did use one of the Shine lipsticks from Urban Decay. This is the June Gloom one. It's like the perfect little nude, sheeny lippy, and made my nice little soft, colorful, pastel-y, springy look. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Share with me. Tell me about trips that you went on or trips that you plan to go on. I would love to hear from all y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoy this video, you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, you like a lot on indie makeup and all that fun stuff, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I would love to have you here. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link the videos that I mentioned as well as other vlogs that I have done if you want to see some of my other travel adventures. I will also link all the makeup that I put on today in case you want to check them out for yourself. And I will also have my contact and my social media platforms. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_Beauty, and I do post a lot of different content there as well. And I did do a lot of like travel reels, travel stories while on my trip on the lifestyle one. So check it out if you want to see those. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for hearing about my trip, being so sweet. You guys sent such nice comments wishing me a good trip and hope that I had a good time. So I appreciate that so much. You guys are just the kindest, nicest people. And I just love this little beauty community that we have here. But I just hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in the world. And I'm just sending you guys so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.